Hi again, LIS 505. This video will just introduce you to the assignments that are a requirement of this course. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into the course syllabus, which I have linked up here, and it shows a breakdown of the assessments and the weighting for each of the assignments. So this will give you a little bit of an overview of what is expected as far as your work, your contribution goes to the course. The 50% half of your mark goes into the participation for the discussions. Half of that half is for your initial posts, and the other half is for participation throughout the term. I'll talk more about that in a minute. A little 5% is for an ethics tutorial, 25% for a literature review that you will write, and then 20% for a group assignment, which is writing of an open textbook supplement. So it all adds up to 100%. So I'll go through each of these in a little bit more detail, starting with the discussions. So your discussions kind of consist of two things, two ways to contribute. One is contribution with your initial post. There are 5 throughout the term that will be graded. So you can think of those as they're kind of like mini papers. They're really just about a 2-page at most paper that you would write on the topic of that week, and you would post that within your discussion forum for the week. And that would be posted by Monday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So in those weeks where it's an initial post that's graded, your participation matters as well, but everybody has to post an initial post, meaning that you can't just be responding to other people's posts, but you have to have your own specific original post as well. So that initial post is what I will be grading, and they'll each be worth 5%. So it's important for you to remember that with the initial post, on those weeks that there is an initial post, that you both post it in the discussion forum, but you also need to submit it as an assignment. So if I go back to the main page here, there is a place for you to do your submissions. You can see that they're always a piece of paper with a hand. That means that that's a drop box. So you can see that there's 5 initial posts. So once you finish writing it, you're going to copy and paste it, not as an attachment, but you'll copy and paste it into your discussion forum, so into your discussion group. But then you will also be submitting it as an assignment. So it's a two-step process for those initial posts. So there's 5 of them throughout the term. I think 2 in September, 1 October, and 2 in November. And those will add up to 25%. The remaining marks are participation in discussion. So that would include your responses to other people's posts and your participation, sort of your the way that you're engaging in the conversation for those couple of days that the discussions are open. So discussions run from Monday morning to Wednesday night. So your participation mark, which is 25% of your grade, is everything else that you post in that period of time. And that can be during the weeks where there isn't an initial post requirement. So if I go to the class schedule, it will say clearly, remember I said the course schedule is your Bible? So your course schedule will tell you when there is an initial post that's being graded. If it doesn't say that, then that means that you don't have to create an initial post, but you're still going to be contributing to a discussion. So it's a little bit more free form, you could say, for week 3, for example. But your participation mark is still going to, I'm still going to look at that week and see how you've participated. You can't just sort of ghost the site for a week, and because you will not get, a good participation mark if you aren't present every week. And then you can see in the fourth week, there is your second initial post. So you'll be submitting your initial post, and then you'll be contributing throughout that discussion. And then the next week, for example, there is a discussion, but there isn't sort of a focus to it as far as you need to write an initial post and carry on from there. You'll just be sort of having a conversation with your discussion mates. And there is another initial post. I think that's the third one. And then there is a fairly large gap till November 4th. That's after your literature review is due. Is your fourth initial post, and then your fifth initial post. So note all the weeks where it does say there's a discussion, because your participation mark counts towards all of those, all of those weeks count towards your participation mark. And also, in addition, there's the initial post weeks, of which there are 5 that you need to submit that post. So hopefully that made sense to you. If I just go back to the e-class and go back to more information about the discussions, under course syllabus and discussion groups, I was just under course schedule, where you get the topics for each of the weeks, and you get the information of whether it's an initial post required or not. There's 2 other tabs that you need to read. One is on instructions on discussion posts, and the other are the rubrics. So the instructions will give you a lot of really good information about how to get a good mark and how to actually participate in, effectively in conversations from week to week. Many places it will reiterate when discussions start and when they end. And you don't need to post anything outside of those times. So this document will talk about how, what you'll be doing. You'll be engaging in discussions. You'll be submitting an initial post on those initial post weeks, and then you'll continue to participate. The minimum is 250 words. The maximum is 400 words for your initial posts. So it says at minimum, your contributions must consist of at least one direct answer to the post question or task. So if another group member has posed a question, or they've suggested something, or they have a query, they say, what are other people's experiences with this? What do other people think about this? What would you do in this situation? Then we're looking for you to contribute to that conversation at least one time. And you also want to respond at least one time to the contributions of the other people in your group. So that's the bare minimum, and you'll want to contribute more than that. Now, of course, there is kind of a balance between contributing too little and contributing too much. And so it's just really an art, I think, to be really meaningful and thoughtful about what you're posting, not being too hasty in your posts, and not just posting to fill up space. And maybe the first week or 2, it takes a bit of time. After that, you might get into the rhythm of it. And I suspect that you've had to do discussion posts in all of your other courses, or most of them. So, my expectation is that you're probably pretty good at managing the discussion. My role from week to week is a bit of facilitation, but mainly hands-off. But know that I'll be reading every single post and keeping track of your contributions. So there you go. Now, if you want to get more details about how are you going to get a good mark with your discussions, go to the rubric. So back to the main page, that's this document here, rubrics. And it shows you the rubric for scholarly contribution. So that's your rubric for your initial post. And then there's a rubric for your participation mark, how to get the best participation mark. I really like the details that are given here. Dr. Roger and Dr. Jennifer Branch created these rubrics, which they've kindly allowed me to use for this class. Talks about what you should do with the scholarly contribution, i.e. Initial post, about writing creatively, engaging the reader, being original. So it's not just a synthesis or a repeat of what the readings are, but take it a bit further. Talk critically about those readings and about how they've added to your your understanding of the topic and how they've given meaning to the topic. Relate it to your own personal experiences, past experiences. Go above and beyond and find other publications or other articles that help to support your ideas. So, you know, I'm looking for reflection of what your readings, of what you've read, but also some original ideas or thoughts. So in that sense, it sort of is like a mini paper, each of those initial posts. My word limit is a little different maybe than what you've seen in the past. It's about a 400 word limit, so between 250 and 400 words is what I expect. Okay, so I'll let you just sort of digest all that information and leave it at that. But the information on the discussion postings are there. And then each week's topics are under your Bible, which is your course schedule, right? Now, there's more information on the other assignments under the link down here. So under assignment details and submission, here with the piece of paper with the hand are where you do your submissions, but this document here gives you assignment details. So this will tell you a little bit more about the other 3 assignments outside of the discussions. The first one being an ethics tutorial. Now this ethics tutorial is from the Government of Canada, and you may or may not have done it in other classes. If you have and you still have the documentation, you're welcome to just use it. You might want to go back in and review it though. Remind yourself of what it's all about, because I think you'll find it useful for that week's discussion on ethics. So the details about how you submit proof that you've done that ethics tutorial are under that assignments link. The second assignment is literature review. I suspect you'll just gloss over this now because that's further down the line, due November 1st or something. So you can have a quick look to see what's expected, but you will be writing an individual literature review on a topic in LIS of your choice. So this gives you a little bit of information about the length and what it's going to look like. And I will have a more detailed rubric for you probably nearer to the end of September. The third assignment is the open textbook supplement, which is a group assignment. Your groups will be assigned not until probably early November or late October. And you'll essentially be writing a supplement to an open source textbook on social science research. And you'll be able to pick your topic and write kind of like a supplement that's related specifically to LIS research on that topic. So what does sampling look like in LIS research? What does interpretive research mean in LIS research? That sort of thing. So that is a little bit of a smaller paper than the lit review. The lit review is like 10 pages and the open supplement is 5 pages, and it's a group assignment. So therefore it's worth a little bit less. It's worth 20%. Lit review is pretty significant, but you can see your participation. You can't play around with that. You got to be a contributor. I can give a little bit more feedback the first couple of times too, you know, and just say, okay, you're contributing a lot, but it's not really a lot of substance what you're putting in. So, scale it back a little bit. Everybody's got a lot to read every week, and so we want to be efficient in our posts, but we want to make sure that we're a really active contributor for those 3 days too. That gives you a bit of an overview of the assignments to be expected for this particular class, and I'll let you just digest that, and then we can revisit it. If you have specific questions, send me an email, or you can post it in eClass in the link that goes to general discussion for the whole class. So thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.